Hi folks, Puffin here with your Antifa News Brief, September 16th, 2021. Putin has the Trumpvirus edition, a little bit extended. Basically, we call it the Trumpvirus because Trump's the one who made it into a genocide, natural virus that came from, crossed over from bats that was caused by global warming, also Trump's fault and Putin's fault and oil companies' fault. So that was originally their fault to begin with. Then they tried to, muddy up the cause of it. But the cause of making it a genocide was very clear to everyone. It was Trump lying about it all along, trying to spread it as much as he possibly could and continuing to try to spread it through his surrogates like DeSantis and Abbott and just all the Republicans, all the Trumpers that are still out there trying to spread it into a genocide, Trumpvirus genocide. So that's why we call it Trumpvirus genocide in the future and forever. But at the same time, Trump's not the only one guilty of that. Bolsonaro, Trump of the tropics, did the exact same thing in Brazil. Modi did a very similar thing in India. They both did this, and probably some other presidents too. Those are the ones that stand out to me. Because I know for a fact Bolsonaro was elected by fake Facebook and Twitter accounts. 150,000 of them. They investigated it and they deleted the accounts a few days before the election after months of making him popular. Surely they did the same thing, Russian funded, Facebook orchestrated in the American election to elect Trump. So the same thing all the way through. Probably did the same thing for Modi because Modi had the same attitude and behavior about the virus, trying to spread it as much as he could. So Bolsonaro, Trump, and Modi were definitely trying to spread it as much as he could. Putin is the one who's orchestrating all this through Facebook, so Zuckerberg's equally guilty as the rest of them. But Putin's the one who orchestrated it. Now, he didn't try to spread Trump virus in Russia. It was an attack upon other countries and the rest of the world, which is why it's poetic justice for Putin to now have, mighty shall fall, for Putin to now have the Trump virus himself. Just like it was when Trump had the Trump virus, it was poetic justice. And if you think about it, if you want to know whether or not the social media companies are in on this, we were not allowed to wish that Trump would not survive the Trump virus. We weren't allowed to say it. You were banned, you were censored, it was removed. You couldn't mention that. So just wanted to point that out, that there was a few months or a month or two where free speech was suspended in that regard for people just and what was he going to do? It wasn't like if we'd all said how much we wanted Trump to die from the Trump virus that it would have happened. It wasn't like a vote we were taking. It was just to protect his ego from knowing how hated he was in the world. It was just to keep him from seeing how many likes, the most liked post ever made, the clever way of phrasing that you wish Trump didn't survive the Trump virus. Well, guess what? We wish, the world, humanity wishes that Putin would not survive the Trump virus. And they're going to pump him full of all the, horse drugs. They're going to put him up on a horse and pump him full of horse drugs and do whatever they can to do what they did for Trump to try to help him survive it. And hopefully he doesn't, because the thing is, Putin, you can cheat our elections, you can cheat your elections, you can cheat everybody's elections, you can cheat social media, you can cheat the truth, you can cheat to spread this virus, you can cheat to kill all these other people, but you can't cheat death, buddy. And it's come for you. And I don't care how buff you are, or how many horses you ride, or how much horse dewormer they pump into you. That's it. You're not living forever. And the truth is, as much as everybody was disappointed that Trump survived the Trump virus, every human being was disappointed that bit of poetic justice didn't take place. It's messing with the justice and it's messing with the poetry. But it's as disappointing as that was, there was this idea, well, he's going to keep doing worse stuff, which he did, the insurrection, the January 6th insurrection, and I guess the upcoming insurrection in a few days or a week or something. Since he keeps doing worse stuff, it does further prove how terrible he was, what a traitor he was. So letting him live longer, giving him more rope, makes it worse. It would have been doing him a favor at any point to arrest Trump. It would have been doing him a favor 3 years ago, 4 years ago to arrest Trump. It would have done everybody else a favor too, but it would have done him a favor because it would have prevented him from doing the worst things he went on to do that he's now guilty of. Do you see how that works? This is just seeing things from the future. So in the future, we call it Trump virus because he was the face of spreading it. But Putin's the one who made him do it. Putin's the one who paid off his settlements to kids that he did things to. Trump did. So Putin's the one he owes for all this. And he paid him off in American lives, 600, 700,000 American lives, and millions of lives of people around the world. And they're evil for that. He's the Antichrist. Trump is. Putin, maybe he's just the devil, just possessed. He's just a bad dude, whatever. Anyway, just an idiot who thinks he's smart. But he's got the Trump virus now. And as far as I know, we can wish that he does not survive it. And free speech is back on in that regard. But we should never forget the ones who turned free speech off to protect Trump's ego, and that's what that was, and that's who they are as well. And they should be rounded up in all this as well, because they're guilty. So yeah, they're pulling the threads. They declassified some 9/11 stuff, which implicates Saudi Arabia, which will come back on Bush and Trump and all those who tried to protect them. It's going to come back on Putin too. Now, like I said before, everybody was disappointed that Trump lived through the Trumpvirus, but he lived to do worse things. So it reveals entirely how bad he is. At some point, you don't need any more, though. You've got enough evidence. It's really also doing them a favor to leave this earth, to leave this life. And, they're getting off easy, basically is what I'm saying, if they get out this way. So, in a way, Putin should hang around and face the music some more. In another way, it's time for it all to end, and Trump won't have a chance to turn on him now. Trump should have used his chance while Putin was still around to go ahead and flip on Putin, because it's the only thing Trump can do to redeem himself and be American again, is to betray Putin and give up what he knows. Oh, I was told to do it. He told me to do it. That's the only redemption for him. That's the only one left. And if Putin dies before he does it, he doesn't have that chance. Because who's he turning in? I mean, I guess Putin dies and then he admits it because no one's going to punish him or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, you can't reason these people. But it is poetic justice, and thank you, nature, for at least getting to Putin, somebody who actually deserves to die from this terrible virus instead of all the innocent victims, and bless all their souls. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and sorry to everyone for what these evil people did to us. But they'll get what they deserve.